Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. I'm Patrick M. Dunn. Perhaps you remember me from the previous 103 episodes. And I'm joined here, as always, by Kat Halstead, the author.
Good evening, everybody. What is up?
Yes, and this is our first official episode of 2018. We are entering a new year, new us, new episodes of the podcast.
Yes, it's our first official one.
Yeah, and we resolute, is that a word, resolute, to bring you more episodes this year.
Yes, we plan to bring you way more content than you have ever seen from us before.
For the same price, free. And you know what? We got some exciting things on the landscape. But before we get there, we're going to bring to you the biggest disaster of 1985, the film that almost destroyed the animation division of this studios. Disney, perhaps you know them, perhaps you've heard of them, maybe not. You know, they just own everything now.
Yeah, they do. What did they just buy? They just bought like Fox Entertainment or something?
Yeah. So pretty soon, you are going to pay rent to Disney. So it's coming. Tonight we are doing their 25th. This is their 25th animated feature film. What's the name of it?
We are doing The Black Cauldron.
Are you doing the John Huston narration voice where he announces it's the Black Cauldron or something?
I don't know. I probably need to be stopped.
All right. So we have some mixed feelings on this. Myself, I enjoyed this. I've watched this a few times, and I saw this in theaters when I was like 4, maybe, not even. And you watched this, and you sent me a bevy of text.
Yeah. I just did not enjoy it. That's all. I could barely pay attention.
Really?
Yeah, I think I spent more time swiping through Tinder and Bumble than I did actually paying attention to this movie.
Oh, you weren't moved by the gripping story between Taran and Eilonwy, I think is how you say it. Eilonwy?
All I know is I kind of just wanted to slap the kid.
Yeah, he is kind of annoying.
And I kind of lost interest when they spent so much time in like the first like 10 minutes of him just like taking care of this pig. It was torturous.
Oh, I thought that was like the cutest part of the movie. That pig Henwin is low-key my favorite character in the whole movie.
It was hard to watch. It was like, oh my god. I was like, how long has this scene been going on? And that's kind of when I started checking out.
It's called exposition, Kat. I would think that you would know this stuff because, you know, you're an author and all, but, you know, sometimes you have to start a movie off and kind of just set the scene, set the type of people, set the characters, set the plot into motion.
Yeah, so it takes 10 minutes to feed the pig and bathe the pig?
Well,
thanks. Yeah, no.
Well, we had to learn a few things. We had to learn that that Taran wanted to be a warrior, that he had dreams and hopes of becoming the hero of the land. And, you know, we had to learn that Dalvin, you know, is the enchanter and he is the keeper of this. And then we have to learn that Henwin has magical powers. So it was just kind of like a build-up. We have to get to that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but it was just not entertaining. If I had my nephew in here watching, he would have walked out.
Really? Do you want to like introduce him to this world? Because I have a feeling that if he liked the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas Spectacular, that he might like this. He might be scared by some parts, but he might enjoy it, I think.
See, I don't think he would have made it past the pig part.
Why not?
These first 10 minutes with the pig. That's just not what I think would capture his interest. Like, if he came in during stuff with like the Horned King, he'd be so down.
But we do get the first like minute of the movie is the little introduction, and we get the narration. So I think that might grasp his attention because they tease the Horned King and the army of zombies.
Yeah, and then I'd hear the whole time, Aunt Cat, where's the Horned King? Aunt Cat, where's the Horned King? Like when we watch Star Wars and it's Aunt Cat, where's Darth Vader? Where's Kylo Ren?
All right, and then just fast forward to the fun stuff. Pro tip, I guess, if you're watching this with a 4-year-old.
Pro tip.
So I guess you did a little digging. You did a little research on this movie. Do you have any wild Black Cauldron tales?
It's the first Disney animated film to receive a PG rating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty. I see why it got PG. So dark.
Yeah, and they had to tone down some of the scenes too. The zombie scenes at the end.
Yeah, they cut a whole bunch out, and they edited this in a way that animated films are not normally edited. They'd edited in post-production. Normally, animated films are edited still in storyboard.
Yeah, this is all Jeffrey Katzenberg's doing. He edited like a live-action film.
Yes.
I believe this is his first of him being involved in Disney, I believe was this movie.
Yes, him and Michael Eisner like took over. and neither of them were like really down with the whole animation department, and they lost a lot of people who had worked under Walt. So you get the new guys like Tim Burton. It's fresh out of like film and art school.
Did you see Tim Burton's like sketches for what he wanted the characters to look like? Did you find that website?
No, I did not see those, but I've heard about them.
There's a website. Just Google like I don't know, Black Cauldron sketches or something. Early Black Cauldron sketches. There's a whole website. It has actually not just Tim Burton's, but all the other people that were involved in it. It looks like a cross between Beetlejuice and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, Taran is just like this weird shaped character with like 11 feet long legs. Gurgi, the little monkey creature, Gurgi, is like a monster, basically.
You know who Gurgi reminds me of?
Ooh, I'm excited to hear.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I can totally see the comparisons. Low key. Actually, high key, Gurgi is probably the most annoying Disney character in the history of Disney.
Like, what? Oh my god, that thing was annoying as all fuck.
Do you know who else was involved in some of the early drafts of the Black Cauldron? If you do not know, Don Bluth. Do you know who Don Bluth is?
I know the name, but I am blanking on who that is.
All right, so he walked out and he took like 13 other Disney animators with him.
Oh, he's one of the old guard.
Because they kept delaying the movie because our animators weren't ready yet to do this.
Well, yeah, they started working on this in 1971 is when Disney got the rights to this story. And they didn't even start actual production until like 1982, 81.
Yes, because they wanted... All right, so basically Walt Disney was dead, as we all know. He died in the 60s. His head was chopped off, frozen, and buried underneath Cinderella's castle.
That's not true. You have no proof of that.
Who knows? So a lot of the people that grew up on the films with him, a lot of the people that worked with him over the years, they retired, moved on, died. So it's kind of like the changing of the guard. You have like a whole new slew of people coming in the 70s, and we had films like The Aristocats, Robin Hood. Good movies, but not really classics, so to say.
Like, I feel like out of that era, I think Robin Hood is the most classic.
Yes, I guess they did a poll. I forget who did a poll, but Robin Hood was like one of the biggest hits amongst like people our age. At the time, I don't think it was like it wasn't like a Snow White level of amazement. They wanted the Black Cauldron to be the new Snow White.
No, that's never gonna happen.
So after pre-production hell for I don't know a decade, Don Bluth and 13 other Disney men finally had enough.
Yeah.
They walked off, and they actually got wooed by another studio, Aurora Films, I think is what it was called. And you may have heard of a movie called The Secret of Nim, maybe?
Yes. I actually really enjoyed that movie when I was a child. I think it would freak me out now. I don't know.
How about American Tail?
Okay, here's the thing. I kind of hate Fievel. I want to smack that little mouse so bad. He annoys the crap out of me.
Okay, well, you might like this one. Have you ever heard of The Land Before Time?
You know, I might have watched that like a few dozen times in the past few months.
How about All Dogs Go to Heaven?
You know what? I've seen it. It's not something I will purposely put on.
Those were all Don Bluth movies. He basically directed and produced those, and they all were pretty much big hits of the 80s. So Disney must have been pissed because they really didn't have like a huge 80s hit.
They didn't, because they didn't know what they were doing anymore.
And here was Don Bluth just like pumping out these films, just left and to the right.
He's like, hey guys, these are the movies people are going to want to see.
All right, so this movie had an announced budget of $25 million, and at the time it was the most expensive animated film ever produced. And do you want to know what it opened with? Do you have that figure? Do you know it?
I don't. I did not write that down.
It opened up at number 4 that week at the box office with a paltry $4 million.
That's it? Oh my gosh.
And its final domestic gross, just in the United States, was just over $21 million.
That's awful. That's terrible.
So it didn't even make its budget back. And later accounts has said that the movie actually probably costed close to $40 million, and that $25 million was just Disney like downplaying the numbers a bit. So there's a little bit of a conspiracy there.
Conspiracy corner!
So as we know, after this movie pretty much like nearly bankrupted Disney, the new regime, Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, they basically closed Disney Studios. They moved it to Glendale, so it moved from Burbank to Glendale, just like a town over, and they they considered even just like canceling the whole film division, but people love Disney and they wanted Disney, so they pretty much had to make a change, and they had to make a change fast. So they created a faster and cheaper way to do this, because if you watch these movies, you look in the background and they're all very detailed, they all look hand drawn, they're all painted very meticulously.
Yeah,
they kind of did away with that, and that's why movies like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, to name a few, Aladdin, those they started pumping those movies up pretty quickly, and it's because they were working on them faster and cheaper.
Well, that's because, they had the computer animation now.
Yes.
That definitely helped. They had new techniques. Like, there was a technique they used in this movie, but it was already out of date by the time they started working on The Little Mermaid, because computer technology had improved greatly. Yes.
Well, the Black Cauldron does have a little of a computer graphics involved into it. Not too much, but... Mm-hmm. It definitely, the equipment they wanted to use was way too costly, because they wanted to do this like hologram effect. Mm-hmm. So if you were actually like in the movie theater, at the end when the Black Cauldron starts bubbling and like the green smoke comes out, they wanted to have some projector device in like select theaters. It would seem like there would be like a hologram of the green smoke and the skull faces like above your head when you're looking up, to kind of give you like an immersive experience.
Oh shit, that would have been awesome.
I know, but just to get one of those cameras, it was just way too much money, and they couldn't do it. So they had to EXO that whole thing. Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. That's something like William Castle would have loved. He would have like been totally down for that.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe they could have just had like a string going across the theater and just have like a little like ghost float down or something.
Just like, or you know what? Just can you maybe like color dry ice? I wonder if you could color dry ice.
Yeah, just you don't have to get too like technical, but who knows? I don't know. That's not really like Disney style though. These little gimmicks and things. I don't really think.
Yeah. That's true.
But do you want to know when this movie is released? Do you want to know the release date?
The release date was July 24th, 1985.
Yes, we were alive. We were like 4-ish years old.
We were.
Do you want to know what else was released the same week as The Black Cauldron?
Yeah, tell me what else was released this week.
All right. The Heavenly Kid. Do you know this?
I don't think so.
All right. I didn't know about this till like a few hours ago. This is a movie about a hip guardian angel named Bobby Fantana. He's very Fonzie-like with a white t-shirt, cool leather jacket, and he dies in a car race in the 1960s. And then in the afterlife, he reluctantly agrees to watch over a lonely 80s high schooler named Lenny, who needs guidance on how to become cool.
Okay.
Would this be something you would watch?
Huh. If it was like playing on TV on a rainy Saturday afternoon, maybe.
I'm gonna just name drop 2 more names that are in this, and this might change your mind.
Let's be real. I might actually go look this up on YouTube.
You probably are doing it right now.
And that's how I'm gonna spend the rest of my New Year's Eve.
All right, The Heavenly Kid also stars longtime fave Richard Mulligan.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking this up.
And our gal pal Jane Kaczmarek.
Ooh.
And it didn't do too hot at the box office, which is like why we don't have like 16 Candles level of dolphin squeal noise over this right now. All right, so this movie stars Lewis Smith as Bobby Fantana. You may know him from the first 2 North and South miniseries movies.
Okay, hold on. Do you know what character he played in those?
He played a character named Charlie. In Hot Scoop, his character is replaced by Kyle Chandler in the 3rd one.
Yes, he played Charles Maine.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's probably Charles Maine is who he... I was thinking,
So, I don't know, maybe you will see this now. Maybe you're going to seek out The Heavenly Kid, and I don't know, maybe we'll do it for a feature episode of the podcast.
Oh.
Maybe we'll have like a wacky
totally.
80s night where we wear like white t-shirts and cool leather jackets. Totally down for it.
You realize that's more 50s than 80s, right?
Well, I mean, he was a ghost and still wearing it, so.
Yeah, well, that's because he was a ghost who died in the 50s.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, they were probably nostalgic for that era then, so, things always come back around sometimes.
Yes, they were.
At least for a wild weekend in 1985. This was considered cool. All right. Do you want to know what else came out this hot weekend?
Yes, please tell me.
All right. Have you ever heard of a film called Kiss of the Spider-Woman?
Okay.
It doesn't sound like something I'd ever want to watch, but here it goes. The film stars William Hurt and Raul Julia, who we know as the Gomez Addams who died. Yeah. He played Gomez in the Addams Family movies. William Hurt plays someone else. They are cellmates in a South American prison. Lewis is a transgendered individual, and he's found guilty of immoral behavior. And the other guy is a political prisoner.
Okay.
And to escape reality, Lewis invents romantic movies in his mind just to occupy the time. And during the time they spend together, the 2 men come to understand and respect one another. And fun fact, it's this movie is one of the first independent films to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not searching that out.
It did not take home the Best Picture award, but William Hurt did win the Academy Award for Best Actor, though. Ooga, so it did get some accolades.
Okay.
All right, we got one more movie that came out this weekend. You ready for it?
Give it to me.
Perhaps you know this. National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Woo! I know it. I love it. I've seen it dozens of times.
The Griswolds are back, and they're going to Europe this time, and hilarity will ensue. And this actually was the highest grossing film that was released this week, and it usurped Back to the Future, which had just been released on July 3rd, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it finally knocked Back to the Future to its second spot, but Back to the Future did, the next week in August, it did go back to number one. So I guess people got tired of the Griswolds and wanted to go back to the Future.
Yeah, they probably were like, okay, we're going back. Back to the Future now.
They're like, we had enough of this Chevy Chase comedy. But did you know that, I never knew this, did you know that Amy Heckerling directed this film, European Vacation?
Yeah, I knew that.
I never knew that. I don't know. I wish we got like more iconic Amy Heckerling movies like we did in the 80s and 90s. We just we don't hear about her anymore. She's just gone away.
I know, I miss her. I mean, seriously, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Clueless, was my everything in high school,
Yeah, Look Who's Talking, all the Look Who's Talking films.
Oh god, God, I love those.
So the 2000s has been rather dry for her.
Yes.
I kind of looked up her filmography. She directed a weird season 1 episode of The Office, the one that has Amy Adams in it.
Okay.
And then she did a weird 2012 horror comedy movie called Vamps. And you want to know who's in this movie? You're going to shit your pants when you hear this.
Please tell me.
This movie starred Alicia Silverstone, Kristen Ritter, and Sigourney Weaver as vampires living the good life in New York City.
Okay, I know what I'm looking up later. Hold on. I'm adding this to my bullet journal right now as a movie to watch.
Hot scoop. Dan Stevens is also in this movie, too.
Okay, why do I know that name?
He was on the new Beauty and the Beast. He played the Beast, I believe.
Oh. And it was called Vamp?
Vamps with an S, pluralized. So I guess they're just 3 lady vamps. I believe Sigourney Weaver's the leader vampire, and she creates Alicia and Kristen Ritter into vampires in the 1800s, and they spend a century just kind of living amok, and then they end up finding themselves in New York City, and they're kind of socialites, I think. I don't know. I kind of read the description.
Okay.
And it seems kind of weird, but you know what? I'd totally be down with it. It's an Amy Heckerling joint.
It is 100% on my movies to watch list.
It was 2012. The Mayan calendar was coming to an end. We all thought the world was going to end. And Amy Heckerling's like, you know what? I just always wanted to do this vampire movie with Alicia and Kristen and Sigourney. I'm just going to do it. And she made it, and the world didn't end. And now we're here 6 years later watching it. Maybe, yep. Almost. We'll find it.
Cat will find it.
Yeah, Fast Times at Vampire High. All right. Are you ready to go to Prydain? Are you ready to take that journey to the castle and save the world?
Oh, I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be, which is, not very ready.
Saddle up, Kat, because here we go. We are going to take a journey into mysticism. The film opens with narration provided by John Huston. I believe I teased that earlier. The big-time Hollywood dude in the 1940s and beyond. But who cares? More importantly, he's also the father of the beloved Angelica Huston, star of The Witches and The Addams Family, and those wacky Wes Anderson films. I think that's more important than anything he's ever probably done.
Oh, totally.
And to bullet point John Huston's lengthy narration, there is a magical Black Cauldron, and if the evil Horned King gets a hold of it, he will unleash his army of zombies onto Prydain. Basically, the world would become like The Walking Dead, but with cauldron-born zombies roaming the country and feeding off the flesh of its fine folks.
That just sounds so much fun. Wow, I might be super sassy tonight.
Why's that?
I don't know.
Anger at the world?
Always.
Did 2017 do you dirty?
Yeah, 2017 did me way dirty, dude.
Well, it's a new year. Anyway, impending doom aside, we then quickly cut away to a tiny-ass farm where we meet Dalben the Enchanter. And in the books, he's some, badass wizard-type character with, great power. But here he's just some bumbling old fool who makes his assistant pig keeper Taryn do all the farm work while he just chills around with his rickety old fat cat who low-key is kind of a dick.
There was a cat?
Yeah, you don't remember the cat?
Don't even remember the cat. Nope.
The cat that was just chilling next to Dalben, the old man. Well, I mean, he wasn't I don't think they named the cat. He was just mean. He was scratching at Taryn. Mm-hmm. I just kind of thought he was a dick.
Sounds like my cat.
It sounds like most cats, let's be real.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you scooped earlier, Taryn is annoying. High-key annoying, but it's probably not his fault.
Yeah, he's annoying. Everybody's annoying. None of these characters were likable. They weren't rootable. They were just bleh.
There wasn't one that you related with even a little bit?
Nope.
Not even one of the witches that come up later on?
No, none of them.
All right, the worst. Who is the worst?
I don't know. The Jar Jar Binks type guy.
Gurgi.
He was pretty bad. Like, okay, if you've got me making a Star Wars reference, that's pretty epic.
And then episode 1, the Phantom Menace reference too. So shout out to the Phantom Menace.
Episode 5 is the best movie.
Ooh, we should have a debate, a hot debate next time. We'll do like a Star Wars debate. We will have like Steven moderate it.
I will have somebody doing my side for me.
You're going to have like someone hand you notes.
Fighting my opinion for me.
We'll just have to get podiums first before we get there. We just need a podium or two.
Okay.
I don't know. My impression of Taran is that it's probably not his fault. He's annoying. He's been cooped up with Dalbin all these years and has to listen to his boring stories of like mystical cauldrons and horned kings. And all this time, Taran's been like, bitch, when are we finally going to get to see some action? All I've been doing is feeding your fucking pig this gruel and getting clawed by your shitty cat.
Yeah.
All he's been up to. And it's that old dude's like, oh, patience is a virtue, my son. Like, were they like grandfather and grandson? I couldn't figure out like the relationship here.
I don't know. Was he just some weird old guy who has a kid working for him?
Like he found an orphan.
Isn't that how things worked back in the day?
He just like found himself an orphan.
Yeah, he just found himself an orphan. Like all the creeps in Hollywood.
Do you think he kidnapped Taran?
Probably.
Like stole him from his like mom and dad, like in the nearby village, and then just like went out to the woods, like deep into the woods?
Yeah, probably.
He needed like just someone just to like boss around all these years. Do all his grunt work for him. Take care of his cute pig.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Taran's a daydreamer. When he goes out to feed his pig, he forgets the task at hand, and he ends up picking up like a twig and pretends it's a powerful sword, and he envisions himself as some kind of like warrior trudging through dungeons and fighting off dragons and shit. And then he angers a nearby goat, who the goat just like knocks him off his ass and into like a mud puddle, which splashes all over Henwen, the pig. Can we just say Henwen, the pig, is fucking adorable? Probably the cutest Disney character of all time.
Like, he's a cute little pig, but...
Oh, it's a she. It's a lady pig.
Oh, she's a cute little pig, sorry. Like, I'm gonna know the difference.
She comes out of the little like pig house and she like bats her eyelashes and she like smiles. And
I mean, she's a cute little thing. But I felt like it was just kind of gratuitous how long they spent on him feeding and bathing her and all of that. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is like, there's got to be a better way. Especially when you consider like they had to cut stuff out of the movie. Like, they could have cut some of this out just to like cut time.
Yeah, well, like they cut out stuff at the end.
They just didn't.
Anyway, Dalbin hears all the commotion going on outside of Taran getting knocked off his ass, and he comes out and is rip shit at Taran because Henwen is covered in mud, which, I don't know, isn't that like what pigs normally do?
Yeah, they get covered in mud and they like roll around because the mud cools them down.
Yeah, but not this pig, I guess. I guess like this is like a prim and proper pig, and he just like chills. Like he has like a little like straw hut that he lives in. It actually looks kind of like cozy. Like it's bigger than a doghouse, I think.
Damn.
Anyway, so now Taran has to wash Henwen in one of those little like wash buckets that only exist in Disney movies, and for some reason Henwen loses his shit for no reason at all, and like he just scurries out of the wash bucket, which is unusual for him because we learned that he usually likes baths.
It was so like it was just awkward to watch.
That's when we get like the moment of reveal. So now that like Henwen is like flipping out for no reason at all, Dalbin is forced to tell Taran the truth that Henwen is not just an ordinary pig, but an oracular pig.
So this kid's been taking care of this damn pig for freaking how long, and he doesn't know that the pig has magical powers?
All right, so its magical powers is kind of weird. So you have to get it near like a basin of water or some kind of liquid, and you have to like say some magic spell, and then Henwen will dip his nose into the basin.
Okay.
He can start seeing the future, and then whatever he sees shows up kind of like a hallucination like in the water basin. So we get a vision of like the Horned King, we get a vision of like his dragons flying, and then vision of the Black Cauldron, and Dalbin surmises that the Horned King is aware of Henwen because of this and has to send her into hiding into a remote cabin on the other side of the forest. I guess Dalbin can't walk anymore. I don't know. Like he can't do it. He's too old, I think.
Yeah, he's not down for this. He knows what he's up against. Send to the kid that he kidnapped from some poor family in another village. Boom. Problem solved.
Yeah, so he's like, all right, Taran, you need to escort the pig, and like you need to leave right away. And like Taran is a wannabe adventurer, so he's before Dalbin even like barely has time to like prepare a sack full of bread for him. Taran's out the door. Like he's already out the fucking door. He has Henwen on like a leash, and he's just merrily skipping through the bright and colorful forest.
And didn't he only give him like an apple for the journey? Like that was his whole food for the journey?
Yeah, he gave hm like a piece of bread and an apple.
Like that was it. Like what the hell?
I was trying to figure out if this remote cabin was far away or if it was just like around the bend, but it just seemed like a long time. I don't know. Or was he supposed to eat the pig? Like what?
I don't know. But either way, he made the kid leave with just an apple and like a chunk of bread.
Do you know what is kind of weird? I was kind of thinking about?
What?
Henwen has this magical ability to, I guess, see the future or know where the cauldron is, why don't they just kill the pig?
Yeah, well, like,
And then problem solved.
make some bacon, get some pork chop, problem solved.
Yeah, then, you know what, Taryn and Dalben can just stay home and just have some jerky or something.
It wouldn't be beef jerky.
Some ham, like a ham roast.
Yeah, be ham. They can have some bacon.
Have an Easter dinner.
They could eat well for like a while.
They wouldn't have to bake bread and, I don't know, that weird like gruel stuff that Dalben kept making. But no, I guess maybe they need Henwin for like a future purpose. I think it's possible.
Maybe, I don't know. What would be the purpose?
Well, like if you can see the future, maybe they, I don't know, prevent certain things. Who knows? We don't really get into the mythology of it all. Or I don't know. Like I guess if you named a pig and you like lived with it for years and took care of it, you might have some great difficulty chopping its head off. Maybe. Anyway, Taryn's in the woods with Henwin, and that's when things take a sudden turn for the worst. And Taryn starts daydreaming again of being a hero, and that's when like Henwin fucking just wanders off. He just bails. He's like, fuck this shit, and takes off.
He's like, peace out. You have fun, kid. I'm not going on whatever crazy adventure you want to go on. Just to protect our little old me? Never mind. No, I'm peacing out.
Henwin probably doesn't care if the world gets overrun by zombies because he can just hide somewhere. He's small enough to hide, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he takes off, and Taryn has to set off after him. And then, of course, he hears a noise in like the dark part of the forest. I always love like how like in these like type of movies, so there's always like it's always like bright and colorful and green, and you see flowers and like chirping birds and stuff. And then there's always like one path, and it's just like a few dead trees, and all of a sudden it's like dark and mysterious right away.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden, ooh, here's the bad part of the forest.
And that's where the pig goes. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take off. That's where I'm going to go. The dark part of the forest.
Yeah.
It's like being in like New York City and you take a wrong turn and you're in the fucking slums and like an eye blink.
Dude, okay. Like, I went to a shopping center yesterday that I have never gone to by myself. I got so lost because the navigation couldn't decide which way was left and which way was right. And I ended up parking like way far away from the restaurant. Then I was like trying to navigate through my phone to walk to the restaurant. I'm like, it's telling me to go one way, and actually I need to be going the other way. It was like wild.
Were you near like crack houses and stuff? Cocaine apartments?
No, I wasn't near crack houses. No, I was just down by like the Best Buy when I needed to be down by like the movie theater.
The Best Buy in the bad end of town.
No, I was in a really nice part of town.
You're near like an abandoned Circuit City. But anyway, that's where Taryn is. He's in the slums of the forest near the shitty Best Buy, so to say. And that's when he bumps into Kat's favorite, Gurgi, the Jar Jar Binks character of this movie. As we described, he's a weird monkey thing, like very golem-like from Lord of the Rings. And he's trying to steal Taryn's apple. Mm-hmm. That like the only apple that Taryn has, like his only food source.
Yeah, the only freaking apple this kid has. And this goddamn freaking monkey gerbil monstrosity.
And he calls the apple munchy and crunchy, like munchies and crunchies.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to hear something funny?
So basically this little thing is a stoner.
Pie-eyed in the pristine forest. So you want to hear something wild?
Yeah, tell me. Tell me something wild. You know I love wild.
After this movie came out, at Walt Disney World in Orlando, they opened a snack shack called Gurgi's Crunchies and Munchies.
Oh, dear God.
So it was open from like 1985 or 86 until 1993 when they shut it down to make way for Lumiere's Kitchen.
Aha! Lumiere. But of course.
And now it's called the Friar's Nook, which I have no idea what that is in reference to.
Robin Hood.
Oh.
Duh.
Very timely, I guess. I don't know, like what.
I guess. I don't know. They were like, this'll draw people in better than Crunchies and Munchies.
I don't know, but like it goes from Crunchies and Munchies, a very little known reference, to Lumiere's Kitchen, which is something like widely known and loved, especially by like modern day kids, and then to fucking the Friar's Nook.
Yeah.
From Robin Hood from the 70s.
Yeah.
They must know what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, probably, hopefully.
Anyway, this weird scene between Taryn and Gurgi gets interrupted by the sound of a squealing pig who is being chased by two dragons who were summoned by the Horned King to find and capture the soothsaying sow. And the animated sequence involving the pig trying to escape the dragon is actually pretty intense. And we get like a few like bird's eye view shots from the dragon's perspective. But lo and behold, one of the dragons manages to scoop up Henwin, and Taryn tries to grab onto its tail, but the other dragon knocks his ass off. And like, why it didn't just kill Taryn is unknown to me. It's like, you're a fucking dragon, dude. You could have just fucking killed Taryn.
Like, just breathe fire and like put an end to this whole like miserable experience.
Like, you could have just picked up Taryn, brought him up to the sky, and just dropped him.
Yeah, like seriously.
Or like cracked his neck with his with his talons. But no.
No, they didn't think about that.
Gently flaps him with his wings and he like rolls over. Gurgi runs up to him because Gurgi was hiding during this whole fucking ordeal because he's a pussy. And they then chase the dragons. It's like a ledge that overlooks a lifeless valley. That's when we see the dragons flying off to a scary as fuck looking castle in the distance. And Taran decides he's going to head off to the castle alone to rescue the pig. And Gurgi pieces out. He's like,
okay, kid. Yeah, you do that. You freaking go do that, kid.
Yeah.
You go off alone because that's totally the smartest idea for a little boy.
Yeah, with no weapons. No apple. Well, actually, he still has an apple, I think, at this point. I think he got it back from Gurgi. After Gurgi took a bite out of it.
Oh, okay.
Like one bite.
Probably.
And low-key, I was kind of like disgusted that, all right, so Gurgi took one bite out of the apple. Taran took the apple back and he like put it in his little like pouch. It's like, you're going to keep that fucking apple after like a possibly ravenous creature?
Seriously.
Just ate this? Like, who knows like what weird diseases Gurgi has? We don't even know what Gurgi is. Like, you don't even know what he is.
We don't know what this freaking thing is.
Does it have fleas? Like what?
It's just like this thing.
Taran must have been...
And it's creepy as everything.
There's no apple trees in Prydain, in this forest you're in? You can find like berries or something?
No, I guess not. Well, the damn monkey gerbil thing probably ate them.
Well, he did say that there is no crunchies and munchies in the forest, so
yeah,
maybe he ate them all. Or like other Gurgis? Oh. I don't know. Like, is there other Gurgis out there?
Good question.
High as fuck, just running around the Prydain forest, eating all the snacks in the way.
Oh, good question.
Do you want to hear something that's wild to me?
Yes, tell me something that's wild to you.
So you think, all right, now Taran's going to be off to the castle. You think we're going to get this like wild adventure of him like going through the woods and trying to get there? Mm-hmm. But no, we are spared that long and treacherous journey of Taran like traveling to the castle. Instead, we immediately cut to like Taran just showing up at the castle and just like sliding in through some hole in the wall.
Wow. Like, is everything within like a mile?
I don't know. It's like one block, I guess. I love though, he like slips in, he goes to the castle. He can't get through the door, but there's just like a hole in the wall and he just like slides into the hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. There's a guard there, like a human guard.
Yeah.
He like sneaks by him and let's just point out that apparently, like, the Horned King has hired a bunch of burly men for some reason. And it's not ever really explained, like, what their purpose is or, like, why they're in the castle. He has, like, 2 fucking dragons at his disposal. But, like, why does he need all these humans? Like, burly humans. Like, they're stupid, too. They're downstairs in this weird bar. They're just drinking, having fun, vomiting. There's, like, a gypsy dancer down there, too. They're, like, slapping her ass and stuff.
Because it's fun to have minions. Duh.
I don't know. Like, they don't really seem to serve a purpose. Like, they never really leave the castle. Maybe at the very end of the movie they do, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't do anything.
I don't think they knew what they were doing with this movie. Like, I don't think they had any clue, like, what the hell to do. Because they, condensed 3 books into 1 movie, and it was a hot mess.
Actually, it's 5 books. Lloyd Alexander's Prydain Chronicles is 5 books.
Okay, but I thought this movie was just based on the first 3.
Yeah, it's just based on the first 3.
So yeah.
Might even be the first 2. It's mostly, I think, the second book with like elements of like the first and third brought in.
Okay. So like the pig bathing and feeding and taking care of porn was from like the first book.
Yeah, probably. So like the first book, I think, deals with like them, like the journey of them like going through the woods and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's like a whole book. And then like the second book is like the Cauldron. The second book is actually called the Black Cauldron. I don't know. I haven't read it since I was in like 3rd grade. I can't tell you, but I did read them all at one point in time. And then like the book ends with like Taran. He's like older. He's like an older man. He's like a warrior.
Okay.
So like the books take place like over years, and there's different stories. Like I think like the Horned King isn't even in all of them. He's only in like one of them, I think. Mm-hmm. He's not even like the main villain, but okay. I think he was like the most memorable, I think, from all of them. I think in the actual book, like the main villain was just like a regular dude, but like the Horned King, it'd be like something cool to draw. Like kids would be like, "Ooh, the Horned King," and it's like a Skeletor like guy.
Yeah, probably.
He like is basically Skeletor.
Yeah, totally. Well, he does have that like skeleton face, doesn't he?
Yeah, like I think they just put a robe on Skeletor, and he doesn't have that same like muscular butt that Skeletor has.
They were like, you guys, we just saw these toys at the toy store from Mattel. They're called Masters of the Universe. This is the guy. This is who we're basing the Horned King on. This is Skeletor. Put a hood on him. He's our Horned King. And like a weird like Jedi-like robe. Because like seriously, like legit, that's basically what they did, isn't it? Yeah. You know, they just took Skeletor. They just stole. They had to have been wandering like the Toys R Us or the Kids Circus or whatever the heck it was back in the day. Yeah, Toys R Us I think was around, or like KB's or something. Sorry, I just watched that documentary on toys the other day, so I'm like, ooh. Ooh, toy information.
Kmart, the Kmart toy aisle.
Yeah.
So I guess the Horn King, he's this weird Skeletor. I don't exactly know what he is, but he hires a bunch of goons, a bunch of minions. They're dumb. They just chill. Like I love that there's like a bar in the castle, like downstairs. There's like a little bar.
Hey, you gotta keep them. They gotta do something with their time since they're not doing anything else. They're not like searching for the pig. They're not paying attention to the hostages.
And the guards like at the door, like supposed to be guarding the castle, is he's just like sleeping. There's like a dog chained to the wall, and he's like barking at Taran as he's coming through. And the guard's like, "Stop barking!" He just like slaps the dog, and Taran just like sneaks by. But I do love that there's like gypsy dancers at the castle too.
Yeah, like this is like the weirdest like world ever.
So that's when so Taran is like overhead. He's like up high, like watching through like a window, I guess, looking down at the burly henchmen, and they're like having fun. And that's when this like green goblin like creature, I think they called it a creeper. He comes into the room.
You know what he reminded me of?
Who?
You know what he reminded me of? A gummy bear.
Oh, yeah, from the cartoon.
Gummy bears? Yeah. He was like a mutated gummy bear or something.
When did the gummy bears come out? Like 86 or 87? Maybe they just use like the scale of this.
Gummy bears jumping here from there and everywhere.
Maybe they used, when they came out with the Gummy Bears cartoon, maybe they used like the model of the creeper character.
Yeah, probably.
And they were just like, you know what, let's just like make them bear shaped.
Like it's the similar kind of costumes because it's a similar time period.
Yeah, it's just like he was more goblin-y looking than a bear, but I think they bared it up.
Yeah, probably.
The creeper is proud to announce that he has found the pig. And Henwin comes in like all like on chains.
Woo, the pig!
He looks all sad, and
can't wait for that pig roast.
And the Horned King and the creeper and the burly man, they're like trying to figure out how to like get the magic to work, and they're not really sure. So they know like it involves like a bowl of water, so they pour some like water into a bowl.
Yeah,
and they can't figure it out, and that's when like I don't know, like Taran like accidentally like trips. And he like makes a noise, so they find him.
Yes, because of course. I mean, he's got to be klutzy. Like, okay, he's freaking Bella Swan. That's who he is. He's like Bella Swan.
So the Horned King realizes that Taran is the owner of the pig. So he's like, all right, you need to like beseech his powers. You need to make him do his thing. So Taran starts to do it. He like says the spell, and he starts to project his visions into the bowl, I guess. And that's when like Taran splashes the bowl. It splashes into the Horned King's face, and they like try to make a run for it.
Yeah, they're
running like to the ledge, and they're like a mile high off the ground. And like Taran just throws the pig over the edge. He just like falls into the water. And Taran's like, "Swim, Henwin, swim away!" And Taran's about to do the same. He's about to jump over, and that's when the creeper grabs his legs and drags him into the back to the king. And the king's like, "All right, where's the pig?" Creeper's like, "We didn't get the pig. The pig escaped, but I got the boy." And they're like, "Well, there's nothing we can do with the boy. Just throw him in the dungeon."
Boy's pointless. We don't need this damn boy. Who needs this boy? Nobody needs this boy except for the poor parents he was kidnapped from.
So they throw Taran into the dungeon.
This poor boy. His poor parents.
They throw Taran into this dungeon. It's the easiest dungeon to escape from, because like 10 seconds later, he's like in there for not even a minute. And this like trap door opens up, and out comes Princess Iloni. She has this weird like magical bauble with her that like floats around.
Okay.
And I guess the reason why the king kidnapped her was because he thought the bauble could find the cauldron, but it couldn't. So he had no use for her, so he just threw her in the dungeon. And I guess she's just like trying to escape, but can't find her way out.
She's kind of ditzy.
Yeah, it's like her and Taran like decide to team up, and they're gonna escape together. I guess like Taran, like he has like he might know a passage or something. They end up in like the king's catacombs or something. So it's like the old king, the king that the Horned King took it over from, and they find a sword. So Taran finds a sword.
Yeah,
and it's like a magical sword for some reason. I don't know. Everything has to be magical in this.
But of course. So
it's a plot point that comes up later on. So they find a sword, and that's when they start getting chased by a bunch of before they get there, before they start getting chased by the burly men, they find a third prisoner, Fluter Flam, an old bard, like an old traveling bard who has like a magical harp. Anytime that Fluter Flam lies, a string on the harp breaks.
Fun!
There was no reason for this character in this movie. I just didn't see any need for him.
Yeah.
Other than just to be another character.
Yeah, I don't understand like why half of these characters even exist. Like there doesn't seem to be any point for any of them.
So they free Fluter Flam, and that's when the burly inept guards find out that all three of them are now like on the lam. So like now they're chasing after them. That's when Taran uses his like magical sword. Like it just starts acting on its own for some reason, and it like fights off the guards, and they manage to escape. And
fun!
Now they're like hot on the trail of Henwin. They're like following his tracks, trying to figure out where he is. I don't know, we get a weird scene of like them in the woods, and I don't know, like they just escaped danger. There's like Horned King, there's dragons after them, there's creepers, there's burly inept guards after them, but like they have to like sneak in like a love plot, like a love subplot. So we have the scene of like maybe Taryn and Iloni are going to be like a couple, so they have like an almost kiss moment, and it's like
they're like 12.
Why do they have to shoehorn this in? Like they've known each other for like minutes at this point.
Like, okay, she's what, a freaking princess? He's a pig keeper. Let's be real.
Low key, I think she was lying about being a princess. I don't know. That's just me.
Who knows?
Or like she's like a scullery maid or something. I don't even think she's really a princess. I think she just calls herself Princess Iloni, just like Taryn calls himself Taryn the Warrior. Like she wasn't dressed like a princess. Like she's no fucking Sleeping Beauty Aurora. Was that her name, Aurora?
Aurora, yeah.
Yeah, she's no Aurora. She's no even like Cinderella, like poor Cinderella.
Yeah.
They have this like almost kiss that they force this like love subplot down their throats. And that's when like Gurgi arrives. Like now they're like back with Gurgi. He shows up out of the blue. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, more adventures with him. Yay.
Fabulous. Just what we need is Gollum, Jar Jar Binks all rolled into one creepy monkey gerbil thing.
In Gurgi's defense, he did exist before Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously, but you get the point.
So maybe Jar Jar Binks is based off Gurgi? Maybe that's what George Lucas had in mind when he invented him?
I just still think it's funny that they made all those Jar Jar toys.
So then, somehow, Taryn and gang, they find themselves, like, trapped underground in, like, the fairy village. Like, now there's fairies, and the fairies had Henwin. So, like, Henwin and the fairies have been, like, chilling and just, like, waiting for Taryn to show up. And lo and behold, the fairies know...
I mean, I'd hang out with the fairies over Taryn.
And lo and behold, the fairies happen to know where the Black Cauldron is. It's like in a weird cabin, like just...
Oh, of course.
Not too far away.
Oh, a weird cabin?
Yeah.
A weird cabin? Like the one he was being sent to in the first goddamn place?
Yeah, I think so. Is it the same remote cabin?
I bet it is. I bet it's the same goddamn remote cabin that he was being sent to, and that's why he was being sent there.
Spoiler alert, it's not a remote cabin. It's the cabin of the 3 witches.
Okay, then.
You remember the 3 witches? The 3 horny witches?
Yes.
Well, at least one of them was horny.
Yes, they were... Why are the witches always horny in Disney?
I think...
Just remember how horny the sisters were in Hocus Pocus?
I think it's just maybe that's just what Disney had. Like, they just see witches as being these, like, ugly, nasty creatures that can't get laid. So, I guess... I don't know. They just want dick, I guess.
If you're gonna get dick, at least get good dick.
I know. Well, this one witch just wanted Fluter Flam. Like, she was, like, hot for Fluter Flam. Like, first of all, his name's Fluter Flam.
No way is this guy good in bed.
No, he's an old man. He's 60s, maybe. Mm-hmm. And he's not just, like, old. Yeah. He's, like, twerpy. He plays a broken harp. Every time he lies, like he's constantly lying. He's like constantly trying to like upsell himself, but the magic harp like breaks a string every time he lies. So like people are onto his shenanigans. Mm-hmm. The other witch is jealous, so she turns Fluter Flam into a frog.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
Why is any of this happening? None of this makes a lick of sense.
It's cute. It's cute, cat.
Oh.
So I think Taryn is like, all right, do you have a cauldron here to the witches? And the witch is like, we have many cauldrons here. Like they literally have a room that is just filled with cauldrons.
I mean, you need a small cauldron for some potions and large one for others. You know, you gotta have variety. Variety is the key to life.
But Taryn's then like, no, we want the Black Cauldron. And the witches like their jaws drop. They're like, ooh, no one's asked for the Black Cauldron for thousands of years. And they're like, we might have it, but we can't just give it up. We need something in return.
Yeah.
And that's when the witches realize that Taryn has a magic sword. Ooga. So they want the magic sword.
Ladies, you don't want this magic sword. Trust me.
I don't know. It seemed like a fun sword because it had like it had a personality. Like low key, this is like the magic sword is probably my favorite character in the movie besides Henwin.
Okay.
He like sliced and diced at the henchman. Like it like moves on its own. It's like pretty cool. It glows.
Yeah.
You mean you wouldn't want it? It's cooler than a lightsaber, methinks.
No, if I'm gonna get it like a sword, I want freaking She-Ra's sword.
Ooh, okay.
That's the sword I want. Like, let's be real.
All right, you ready for a fuck, marry, kill?
Okay, give it to me. Give it to me.
All right. She-Ra's sword, Taryn's sword, or a lightsaber?
Kill Taryn's sword. Fuck the lightsaber. Marry She-Ra's sword.
I think fucking the lightsaber might not end well, but...
I am going to get texts about that.
Oh, you're gonna have a little lightsaber gash.
I'm not going to tell a certain person about that FMK until like he listens, and then I'm just going to wait for the text message to come in.
But actually, you know what? I think I'd probably kill She-Ra's sword.
So.
And I think I would marry Terran's sword. I feel like a Terran's sword and I could have some fun adventures.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Does She-Ra's sword fly on its own and like glow and like slice and dice enemies on its own accord?
No, but She-Ra has the power with her sword.
Yeah, but
But the power of Grayskull.
If you touch She-Ra's sword, would you have the power?
Yeah.
Like,
duh.
Do you have to have Grayskull blood for the sword to work?
I don't know. It's been a while since I actually like dove into that world.
You'd be married to Grayskull in name only. Catherine Grayskull. Catherine She-Ra's sword.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Wow.
They trade Terran's sword for the Black Cauldron. And the witches are like, you know what? This cauldron's like worthless. You can't do anything with it. It can't be destroyed. The only way you can stop its magic is if a living soul enters the cauldron on its own will. So like one of them has to sacrifice themselves in order to stop the curse. Mm-hmm. And, no one's willing to do it because, who the fuck would want to do that, right?
Yes, does one of them jump in to do it because they're that fucking stupid?
But the witches take off and they're like, you got screwed. We have a magic sword. You have this like useless cauldron now. And they disappear like in a cloud of smoke. And that's when the king's henchmen show up. Oh yeah, the king's henchmen do leave because they leave. They grab the cauldron. They kidnap the gang. They take them back to the castle. Mm-hmm. They tie them all up. Gurgi somehow escapes. I don't know how. Well, I think he hides. He hides when the danger comes.
He hides, and nobody's gonna go after the monkey gerbil golem Jar Jar Binks.
No, they probably didn't even see it because he's tiny. I like every time that you say what it is, you add like a different thing. Like this time you said he was a gerbil.
I've been calling him a gerbil the last couple times. You'll hear it in the playback.
Next time you're gonna call him like Gizmo from the Gremlins. You know what? He probably was based on Gizmo because I think Gremlins is 84, right?
Yeah.
Maybe someone saw Gremlins and was like, oh, we need like a cute like Gizmo type character.
You know what? I was watching the Drunk Disney on this and they called him like Geppetto breeding with like a monkey or something. And I can't unsee that because he has a face similar to Geppetto from Pinocchio, which is again another bad Disney movie. I'm not a fan of Pinocchio.
Yeah, he kind of does have like that same Geppetto vibe. And he also kind of reminds me of the old guy from Fraggle Rock.
Okay, yeah,
too,
yeah.
In a way. The guy that like lives on land with the dog.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Now that like you've Geppetto'd my mind, like I'm kind of shocked me. Like I'm like at a standstill right now. I'm like, is Gurgi the son of Geppetto and the monkey from Aladdin? What was the name of the monkey from Aladdin?
Apu? Apu and Geppetto made it.
Geppetto went to Aladdin land and made it with Aladdin's monkey, and now they had Gurgi, and they were ashamed by Gurgi, so they found the genie. The genie sent him off to Prydain, and I don't know, that's where he's lived for all these years. That's why there's no other Gurgis in Prydain.
Oh my god.
Like he doesn't even know what species he is.
Nobody does.
He doesn't know where he came from. Yeah, he's just an orphan, a hungry orphan in the woods.
He just wants to have one bite of the apple and then be on his way.
Yeah, he wants to just find his daddy. Like, are you my daddy? Who's my daddy?
No, weird creature, I'm not your daddy.
No, not Taran, not Dalban. But you'll have to travel to another land. You have to go to Pinocchio land. I don't know how to get there. You have to take what's that thing like on Once Upon a Time that connects all the universes together?
I don't know because I don't watch Once Upon a Time. Heather does. So Heather can shout out and...
That's where he has to go.
Tell us.
Tweet us at Very Podcast and tell us what connects all the Disney universes together. Anyway, shall we wrap this up? Shall we end the movie?
Yeah, let's end this travesty of time.
All right, so they're all at the castle. They have the cauldron. Taran and gang are captured except for Gurgi. Mm-hmm. Gurgi shows up, but he's a little too late because the Horned King, he dropped like a skeleton of a dead warrior into the cauldron, which is like how you activate the cauldron.
Okay, that totally sounds totally cool and right, yeah.
So now this like weird green smoke seeps out of it. The green smoke actually looks kind of cool because it looks real. Part of me felt like they used like real smoke.
I'm trying to remember if I read something about that. I can't remember now. I feel like they might have actually used some kind of real smoke sort of thing.
There's some very surreal moments. Like there's some weird shots where some things look like it actually could be real, mm-hmm. Intermingled and intermixed with drawing. So I was like, wow, this is like really cool. Like the animation style of this movie is like actually like really cool.
Yeah, like the animation itself is cool. It's just the story and the characters are just like thrown together. It's like, hey, let's just throw this stuff together and see if it makes sense in the end, and nobody's going to pay attention because it's for kids. You know?
So then the zombies start to rise. Now, like there's just like a room of dead soldiers. Like they're skeletons and they all just awaken. in the green mist. And now they're the Horned King sets them off on a journey to destroy Prydain. Just like roam the countryside, just kill everyone you come across. Just destroy everything, kill everything. And that's when Gurgi shows up, and he sets Taran free. And Gurgi, that's when Taran decides that he's going to sacrifice himself to stop it all. He's going to jump into the cauldron, but Gurgi's like, no, I'll do it. And before Taran has a chance to stop him, like steps off a ledge and he falls into the cauldron. There's a big like whoosh of flames that come out when he falls in there, and the green smoke dissipates. The zombies die. They die off. They fall. The Horned King is confused. The Creeper is confused. So they then go back down to where the cauldron is in the dungeon to like see what's going on. And that's when they find out what happened. And I guess the reversal of the cauldron losing its magic is it's like there's like a wind force that is like pulling in the green smoke. And the Horned King like accidentally like steps into that like wind path, and he like falls into the cauldron. So he's like really easy to defeat. Yeah. They don't have to fight him or anything. He just like steps into the wind force and he gets like sucked in and dies.
Bye, boy.
Now the castle starts like collapsing on itself, so they have to like escape, and they get in this like weird boat thing that just happens to be there, and they like sail off on a boat.
So long.
And then this is where we learn this part was shocking to me. So apparently the castle is not like surrounded by like a weird creepy forest. It's surrounded by like water.
What?
Which wasn't there earlier.
Really?
Yeah, they like sail away in a boat. Before, when we saw the castle, it was like surrounded by like a weird desolate forest. Now we see this long shot of like them sailing away on like a boat. So it's weird. I don't know. Like they just like forgot the landscape, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they had no clue what was going on.
They then sail back to land. They're all excited. They save the day. Mm-hmm. Iloni and Taran, they like hold hands and they skip away, and they're walking back home towards Dalbin's home. And that's when they morph into like a weird hallucination now. And then we see Dalbin and Henwin. Henwin is safe. He's back at Dalbin's. He somehow got back there, and they're like watching this all through the like the little like water basin bowl, and it's wild. It's wild stuff. Yeah, and we get the credits. The credits roll, and the world of the Black Cauldron has come to a swooping end.
Yeah, like, okay.
It's all over.
Yes, I'm happy.
Kat is happy. She's just thrilled that it's over. It's great. I loved it. It was such a great movie, and you hated it.
I really did. But this is definitely in that time period where I just did not like any of the Disney movies that came out in that time period either, though. Except for Robin Hood.
You didn't like The Fox and the Hound?
Not really. Like, okay, I enjoy it, but it's not one that I really like to rewatch. Like, I watched most of it the other week with the nephew.
Oh, okay. What about like The Great Mouse Detective?
Okay, The Great Mouse Detective is actually the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
Oh, what about The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under? I thought those were like fun movies.
I enjoyed The Rescuers Down Under. I did not enjoy The Rescuers.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I kind of like this like weird, like forgotten era Disney. I really appreciate all those movies, and I just feel like they didn't get like enough love. I even like the weird like 70s, like the live action ones from like the 70s, like The Black Hole and Pete's Dragon, and
I love the original Pete's Dragon. I hate the remake they did a few years ago.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but
it's
like I think Disney's in a weird place now. Like I'm not like what are your thoughts on like the live action remakes?
Okay, I enjoyed Cinderella because I feel like they went to the right places to explain certain attitudes, you know? And I just really think that like the costumes were like perfection for that one. But and I really liked the Beauty and the Beast remake.
Yes.
I didn't enjoy Pete's Dragon. I haven't seen The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book isn't one of my favorite Disney movies.
What about Maleficent?
I haven't seen that one. I don't like Angelina Jolie, so...
Yeah, me neither.
I'm totally 100% Team Jennifer.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie, not a gal pal. Let's just get that out there. Not a gal pal.
Nope.
Not gal pal status.
100% enemy of the podcast.
Yep, totally enemy of the podcast. She's up there with Katherine Heigl and Candace Cameron Bure. Actually, she might even be above them.
Those are my gal pals.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to do a very special gal pal episode where we decide who are gal pals and who are not, and who are enemies of the show.
Okay, hold on. I have a few more fun facts.
Okay.
That we didn't get to. During screenings of the original version of this, it was so violent and dark that people fled from the showing. Like mothers were dragging their crying and screaming kids out.
Yes, they didn't even like read the comment cards. They knew right away. Like they just like, we don't even need to read the comment cards. Yeah. Let's just go by like the reaction shots of these kids. And like, I guess people involved in the movie, like they thought the end of the movie was going to be like the money shot. Creatively and artistically it was, because it like looked cool. So they got all like the suits came down, like the suits came down for this scene. They wanted to like look into the audience and like watch the reaction. And that's when like everyone fled the theater.
It was not good. Not good at all, people. Also, urban legend has it that Legends of Zelda has elements based on this movie.
Yeah, I can totally see it, because
yeah, I can totally see it too.
Legend of Zelda is kind of like Link at the beginning of all these games. He's always an orphan living with like an old man. Mm-hmm. There's always some kind of like animal involved, and then he goes off on this like weird long ass quest.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to The Legend of Zelda. Shout out to Link.
And then it is the first Disney movie to have a full closing credits or any at all since Alice in Wonderland.
Really?
Yeah.
How do other Disney, like, they don't have closing credits?
I think they just have like the end and that's it. Like, there's definitely, if you go back and you watch the older Disney movies, they start differently than they do now.
Oh yeah, well, like old movies started with the credits.
Yeah, so
in general, like old movies started with the credits. Like you got like all the actors, all the people involved.
Yeah, in general,
you got like weird little title cards, and yeah, so like I think they all start off like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what are we doing next week?
Let me see. Wait, we might have moved things around from what I have on my list.
We did. I have the list if you don't have it, but
yes.
I think you're going to be surprised by this one.
Okay.
So next week, we are going to a small town based on a series of comic books. There is a television series that is currently inspired by it that is currently on the air, but we're going to go back and do a 1990s, or it might even be 80s, and we'll say 1990s, a 1990s retelling. We're going back to Riverdale.
Yes, 1990s TV movie.
The Archie gang has graduated high school, and it's their like anniversary or something.
Yeah, it's like their high school reunion, and at this point, Archie is the only one who still lives in Riverdale, but he's actually preparing to move out, and everybody's coming back for the reunion.
Ooh.
Because he's like engaged to some woman who doesn't want to live in Riverdale, so they're going to move.
Yeah, wild stuff. So we're going to go back to Riverdale.
We're going to get Christopher Rich as Archie. We're going to get Lauren Holly as Betty, and I forget who else is in it, but it is wild and totally different than the CW's Riverdale.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do some comparing and contrasting to that, and even to the comic book. So it's gonna be a fun and exciting time. So definitely check us out for episode
105.
Yeah, so join us for episode 105 where we go back to Riverdale. All right, and where can you follow our adventures?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at A Very Special Podcast. YouTube, just look up A Very Special Podcast.
Yes.
You can find us online at averyspecialpodcast.com and at saltyrockmedia.com.
Yeah, so definitely follow our adventures, tweet us, give us episode ideas, ask us questions.
Tell us who the top TV dads are, who the top TV moms are.
Where do you rank Jill Taylor in the TV moms?
Yes, like tell us this stuff.
Yes, and as always,
bye!
Watch the skies.